Aloha and welcome. My name is Taylor Norris, and I'm a Galactic Astrology Soul Reader, Intuitive Astrologer, Reiki Master Teacher. And in today's video, I am really excited to share with you about the astrology of the week leading up before the Aries solar eclipse that we have on March 29th, as well as looking at that eclipse, the Aries solar eclipse. So thank you so much for being here with me today in this video. I'm really excited to share with you what's been coming through. This is feeling like a very magical week, a time to really pause and reflect and go within when and where possible for you, wherever you're at in your journey, whatever's alive for you, carving out those spaces and places and times where you can just really be still and resting and being in your dreaming, because there's like a massive explosion of energy that is coming through with this partial solar eclipse in Aries, followed by Neptune entering Aries March 29th and March 30th. And I mean explosion in the most peaceful, loving, highest possible expression way possible. It really feels like a burst. It feels like an activation. It feels like an empowerment. It feels like this catalyzation and like a quantum leap forward, that it's like all of the life force contained in a seed, for that seed to sprout and become a little plant. Like that is the feeling that I'm really getting around this March 29th, March 30th, and we are so supported in this process. So, I also want to share with you there are a couple opportunities to really engage in this process that I am holding space in a Reiki container around on March 28th. So, the day prior to the solar eclipse, I am hosting my free new moon every single month, every single moon cycle. I host a free new moon distant Reiki share online on Zoom. We talk about astrology usually of the first couple weeks of the lunar cycle leading into the full moon. And then there is a channeled Reiki journey for the group, for our sacred circle, that is really connecting with all of the current cosmic energies, engaging, co-creating with them. And what's been coming through in those journeys is very powerful. So if that sounds like something that you would like to be a part of, then please, the link will be below this video. That's on March 28th. On March 30th, I'm teaching a combined intuitive astrology, galactic astrology, and Reiki journey class for Neptune and Aries. And I made a separate video about Neptune and Aries and more about that class. And I will link that video at the end of this video, but you can find it easily on my channel. And the link to the class page will also be below this video. It is feeling so important, number one, to tune into our hearts at this time, and also to come together in sacred circle, to come together in high vibrational containers where we can be safe, where we can be held, where we can support each other through this process of really engaging our deepest spiritual dreams and being in that process of co-creating them and manifesting them, and having the courage and the bravery to say yes to our guidance and to enact it and create this new reality that so many of us really want to manifest and be a part of the new earth, and manifest and be a part of heaven on earth, and really be the change we want to see in the world, like that famous quote. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to look at all of this on one information packed slide, as Jupiter is still in Gemini. So here is the full layout, okay? So on screen is the chart of the Aries solar eclipse, guided by or ruled by planet Mars, currently in Cancer. It's been in Cancer for a long time, and we still have some time with Mars in Cancer. And then on the right hand side of the screen, in the upper portion, we have the transits of this magical week that's leading up to the Aries solar eclipse. And I don't know about y'all, but really, this week after the full moon, after our lunar eclipse, has been really, really busy. It was equinox. There was a lot going on, a lot of different transits going on. And this week, prior to the eclipse, feels like more of a rest, more of a pause. So on March 22nd, we have beautiful Venus star point at 2 degrees Aries. And what that means is Venus is in conjunction with the sun. It's a Venus Sun Cazimi, very powerful moment of the divine feminine, and really launching us on this next 9 month solar Venus cycle. Venus has like many dimensions to her cycle, but in terms of Venus coming together with the sun, this will be for the next 9 months that we are operating under a Aries Venus star point. So it's really that super empowered, divine, feminine energy that knows what she wants and goes for it. On March 24th, we have Sun conjunct Mercury, and this is occurring in Aries. And on March 26th, Venus is leaving Aries, re-entering Pisces. So she's going from that action orientation, stepping back into the watery, mystical realms of Pisces, going to be dreaming again. On the 27th, she's conjoining Neptune at the very last degree of Pisces. So, really engaging those dreams, really engaging her mysticism. March 29th, Mercury is leaving Aries. So, still moving retrograde, re entering Pisces. So, that action oriented Mercury is returning into Pisces, is returning into the cosmic womb of oceanic consciousness, engaging more of that mystical, intuitive, dreamy, impressionable side to Mercury. And this is being highlighted and expanded by March 29th. So, very quickly after Mercury enters Pisces, it's conjoining Neptune. And that is all taking place just hours after our partial solar eclipse in Aries. So, the partial solar eclipse in Aries is happening here in Hawaii pretty much at like 1 a.m., very early morning, March 29th. So definitely not going to be able to see it because it is what is making this solar eclipse is you have the sun and you have the moon that is moving across the sun and is temporarily blocking out the sun's light. So here we are on Earth. The moon is in between the Earth and the sun, and it's really going like straight into that path of the sun. But it's not so much in the path of the sun that we have a total solar eclipse, which would mean like this, the moon is blacking out the sun's light. It's only partial. And so there are very specific regions on the planet, and also given the timing, like is it daytime or not for you? And below this video, I will include a link where you can click and you can visit this link, and it has a full list of the cities and different locations where the eclipse is possible to be viewed if you want to view it. And if not, that's totally fine too. Regardless of whether you can see it or not, we can all connect with it. And that's where I open my circle and invite you to the Distant Reiki Share the day before, where we're going to definitely be connecting with this energy. But it's there for all of us, whether or not you can see it, certainly. Okay. And then March 30th is kind of like I was saying, March 29th, this is like action packed. We have the solar eclipse, Mercury re-enters Pisces, Mercury conjoins Neptune, and then within hours after that, Neptune is entering Aries. So that's a huge transit. That is a huge change. So not only do we have solar eclipse, eclipses are phenomenal, like new beginnings or new or completions being the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse being more of that new beginnings. And as that's a north node of the moon, solar eclipse, that's even more the energy of new beginnings, and it's an Aries zodiac sign, and that is our first zodiac sign. So it's new, like new timelines. And even what I was experiencing with the Virgo lunar eclipse as really this opportunity to like jump timelines, this Aries solar eclipse is also feeling like you're hopscotching over like three timelines, triple hopscotch to this like third, even higher timeline. Like we're quantum leaping, quantum jumping, quantum launching into ever higher timelines. And it feels very, very, very exciting. So, lots going on in this chart. I did some channeling and some compilation of different themes, and I will share those with you in a moment here, and also some different themes that are coming through all of these transits leading up to the solar eclipse. One thing I will mention here, we have on screen the galactic chart showing all the star alignments at the time of the solar eclipse, and also a picture of reticulum constellation, because as you can see, the sun and moon at that ninth degree of Aries zodiac sign are conjunct a star, the alpha star, the brightest star in reticulum constellation. And reticulum constellation, in my working with this constellation, I get very curious about like the etymology and what words mean. Like, why is something called what it's called? And we get a lot of information actually just looking at what does the word reticulum mean. So this is coming from the dictionary, the thesaurus online dictionary. Reticulum is a fine network or net-like structure. It's the second stomach of a ruminant, so like a large four-legged creature that eats lots of grass and fiber. Reticulum having a honeycomb-like structure, receiving food from the rumen and passing it to the omasum. So it's involved in digestion. It's the structure of digestion involved in digestion, and has this whole component of being like a net, being in this sacred geometry honeycomb structure, having this collective, interconnected, it's really evoking this sense of like the gut brain and gut instincts and the intelligence of the gut and the intelligence of the lower chakras, also the Aquarian sense of interconnectedness with all that is the unified field of creation, the way that like honeybees and different species are all communicating telepathically with one another, the way the plants are all connecting with one another, communicating with one another, the mycelium network as this highway for information and communication between different species, and very highlighted like interspecies communication, net, community, being together, being in oneness. So very, very interesting here with reticulum. And also, when I tune into reticulum, I get a very like descendants, ascendants energy, that this is a constellation that's connected with the Zeta Reticuli species and other star species that very much have like a future kind of energy to them, like human beings on Earth who have engaged their evolutionary process being ahead of us in linear time. So being like the descendants and the ascendants, the descendants who ascend from our here and now humans that exist on Earth. So like a future timeline of humanity. So very interesting. We have this huge launching point, and the star alignments is talking about the future as well. So I'm going to share with you some of my notes about all of this and what it means. So, what's been coming through about the week prior to the eclipse? If you can and when you can, as I said, slow down, be still, listen deeply. These are some of the ways to really co-create and make the most of those different transits that I mentioned. To tend your physical body vessel, to certainly engage your mysticism, spend time in spiritual practice, whatever that means to you, whatever your authentic ways of connecting and feeling connected to yourself, to the divine, to the earth, to the stars, to the moon, and so on. To notice beauty, Venus, notice love, also Venus. Notice the divine in yourself, others, and all that is, all the different parts of this earthly reality and the flow of your life. If you can, and if you're called to engage automatic writing, channeling, journaling, drawing, journeying as well. When I was saying journaling, also was wanting to say journeying, certainly shamanic journeying, Reiki journeying, spending time in nature and with loved ones who get it. So being in sacred circle, whatever that looks like for you, being around loved ones and soul family members where you feel really safe spiritually and on all the different levels. To engage your dreaming. So at night, engage your dream time. And during the day, engage your daydreaming and your visualization and tuning into what the vision you have for your life and your contribution, what that is. This is the moment or the time before the action. It's a time of pause, stillness, and reflection, again, with Mercury and Venus retrograde, and so much energy in the first sign of the zodiac and the last sign of the zodiac. When and where possible, be still and reflect and hold space for yourself and others to do this too. Definitely a moment to engage peace, all forms of love and gratitude. Be grateful. If you feel lost and very much in the mix of all the different Pisces energies, and maybe you don't have a clear vision or a clear dream, just be grateful, and that will automatically raise your vibration and put you in a place where you can manifest more skillfully in and more beautiful ways. It's very much a week of being in between the worlds, multiple levels and signifiers of that. To rest, recharge, engage your creativity, even if you're not creative. Something I was doing yesterday is I got my colored pencils out, my oil pastels out, some pieces of colorful paper, and I was just like making drawings and drawing the different glyphs for the planets and combining them with different colors. And, with the oil pastels, you can smear them and make them look really cool and interesting and even more Neptunian. So even if you don't consider yourself creative, allow yourself to engage creatively in a playful way that feels good for you, and just like don't judge it. It doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be art gallery worthy. Like just have fun with it. So, some themes for the Aries solar eclipse. The birth of the heart and mind. This has been coming through in a really strong way. The intelligence of the heart and like being centered in our hearts. And, I was trying to like parse it out. Like, what's the transit that's really like super heart mind? And it's like everything all at once. All the energy we have at the end of Pisces, all the energy we have at the beginning of Aries. It's all talking about this heart mind. Follow your heart in seeding your dreams. New moons are times to seed those intentions. And all the Pisces is really talking about the dreams, and the Aries is talking about we can make them real. We can actually manifest them. Big heart-based new beginnings. This is the new moon, particularly of the divine feminine, the Aries Venus star point, spiritual aspirations and dreams coming true. This is Neptune, and higher mind attunement and entrainment, opening pathways of new communications and connections. I really see us learning to communicate and connect and engage with one another in new ways, including telepathically, but also engaging with that heart mind, really leading us. And also, with regard to the heart mind, think about the decisions you've made in your life where you are following your heart. I was reflecting on this, and it was like all of the best decisions I've ever made have been the ones where I followed my heart. So maybe do a little inventory about your heart-based decisions. And if you feel like you haven't really made heart-based decisions, tune in and inquire what would be a guidance, an action that your heart is inspiring to take, and maybe pick something small and take that action and see how it turns out. Spiritual communications on high, greater psychic activation on all levels. I know I've been talking about this a lot, feels like in every video. And from what I'm seeing and sharing and observing others, communicating with others, it's like people are more psychic than ever. And it's really, really amazing to watch. It's really like all of our inner technology is being activated, and to develop skill with it and use it and have it just be a part of our everyday life. So expect more of that too. Listening to the descendants and ascendants for guidance. This could be like a future version of yourself, future human beings, our descendants and ascendants guiding us. They could have ideas about what are the actions we need to take right now, and be using your heart as a way to tune you into what those actions are. Greater embodiment of the light body. This new moon is conjunct the dwarf planet Salacia, who is a beautiful mermaid, divine feminine energy. And so we will be embodying more of our light body physically, like our physical bodies becoming more and more light being held and transmitted. And that's something too with the birth of the heart mind. When we expand and have these really coherent heart fields, we can actually receive more light, hold more light, transmit more light. Very exciting. Supporting your light body. So ask yourself, what does your light body need physically? Maybe you got some guidance around that at the Virgo full moon, Virgo lunar eclipse that we just had. Are there nutritional, nourishment, or nurturance related changes to be made? This is coming through Mars and Cancer. Are there emotional adjustments to be made? Are there ways you can support yourself and others emotionally to facilitate being more in your light body and greater heart coherence? There's strong grounded support for whatever intentions you are seeding for the long term. This is Mars in Cancer trining Saturn in Pisces. And this is like so exciting and so beautiful to like lean into Mars and Saturn working together to support whatever our heart guidance, whatever our spiritual guidance is coming through, whatever the ascendants and the descendants are communicating and instructing us to move towards. Spiritually guided divine masculine action. So the divine masculine can really support whatever the divine feminine is really dreaming in the vision of the divine feminine to create and manifest. Remembering that Aries Venus star point. And it's like Mars and Saturn have our backs here. Taking a strong healing action. Mars in Cancer is squaring Chiron in Aries. So, whatever action you're being guided to take with all of this rising courage and bravery, there's this healing support. There's this sense of like mentorship and lineage and healing on all different levels that is possible here, that maybe you're stepping into mentorship or you're watching or facilitating somebody else and stepping into mentorship, and really that role of the mentor and the apprentice being highlighted here with Mars square Chiron, and also with the Virgo South Node. Virgo is a sign having to do with that mentorship as well. New awakened action guided by the descendants ascendants. This is Mars sextile Uranus in Taurus. So this is new, this is innovative, this is groundbreaking, and it's very much connected to the galactic and very much connected to the future timelines of ourselves, and it's in alignment with the divine feminine, as Uranus is currently conjunct, making a conjunct alignment with Algol star in Perseus constellation. Algol very much having to do with the divine feminine and the power of nature, the power of the earth. Strong multidimensional activation guidance and support from the original ancestors. And this is coming through the galactic alignments. Mars opposite Lyra Ring Nebula, where humanoid beings were seated physically in the Milky Way galaxy. Multiple supergalactic center alignments. If you look back at the slide I shared, it was like coming through so many different places. And the most future descendants, ascendants, the sun and moon conjunct reticulum. So from the very ancient, we're receiving support, guidance, activation. From the very future, we're receiving activation, guidance, and support. And also something that's really been coming through for me is this like new non-dual relating to the reality of both linear time and multidimensional time as well. That time can both be something that's like real and something that's like not real and doesn't matter. Playing with that. Yeah. So that's very, very interesting. And also the non-dual relating to soul as something that kind of is like really personal in the sense, and soul combined with that linear time, that we actually like can have like past lives that are like kind of ours. And at the same time, like there is this non-possessiveness, non-egoicness to soul that is very multidimensional as well. So more of being able to hold paradox like that. And I think that's very much what Mercury and Neptune, Aries, Pisces is starting to help us wrap around. And also part of what the heart mind is helping us wrap around, because the heart mind can help us understand these truths of existence that logical, linear, just super mental brain mind cannot understand and cannot wrap around. So let me know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So one other thing I wanted to mention in this video is the Sabian symbol. This is 10 Aries. A teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images, revision of attitude at the beginning of a new cycle of experience. A new dimension of consciousness is discovered, revealing higher possibilities of experience and mental development. The heart mind. This is a phase of abstraction and of emotional allegiance. Also makes me think of Mars and Cancer. Cancer, that sign, is very connected to our emotional bodies. And also, this is with the symbols there, right? A teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. If you can just like engage creatively a little bit, let yourself maybe draw, doodle, sketch, create, work with symbols and symbolism in some way that feels good, that something interesting can maybe come through with that. So, in closing, again, I would just like to invite you to the two events I am hosting, these sacred circles, March 28th, the free Aries new moon and solar eclipse distant Reiki share, and March 30th, Neptune Ingress Aries activate gifts of spirit, intuitive galactic astrology and Reiki journey class. The links for both of those are below this video. And I hope to see you at one or both of these gatherings and really just support yourself through this. Be somewhere that feels good and safe and supportive for you. This is such a beautiful time that we can come together as sovereign, empowered individuals and light workers and light bringers and light warriors and all our different lineages and all our different ways be together, support one another, and empower one another because each of us has a unique contribution and we all fit together in these really beautiful ways and we can collaborate and co-create and really just all be on this same team, Aquarius, of creating and empowering and manifesting and enjoying the new earth and heaven on earth. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for whatever your unique contribution is to heaven on earth. And I wish you very much the most beautiful week leading up to the eclipse and the most beautiful solar eclipse in Aries. Aho, amen, namaste, and so it is. Mahalo.